So this hive is starting to swarm. I was looking at it. I come up here earlier and I showed you guys this hive is really busy. And I'm looking at the box and they're just sitting on it like this, waiting to go, waiting to swarm. I'm worried as soon as the sun was going to come out that they were going to go. I didn't have a chance to pick these bees up yet and go through them. And in the course of me staring, I look down and I see down here I got a whole bunch of bees. Well, my queen was in this bunch of bees. I got her in this little box right here now. So this colony was going to swarm. There could be multiple queens in this mess that I'm going to go through. I do have my original queen though. She's in this box, in that little 2-frame box. I'm going to try to get those bees that are down there on this leg to get in there with the rest of them. And hopefully, see if we can see any more queens in this swarm. Was really kind of curious as to why the heck what was going on with this, and sure enough, I got the queen in that box. Now I'm not sure if there are other ones. Sometimes they'll throw off multiple queens. You get these little gatherings and clusters of bees like this. And it's important to take a good look at them because sometimes you're looking at more than one. You're looking at more than one queen. So I'm going to go through all these bees and take a real good look and see what I can see. I know I already have the queen in this box, so I'm excited about that. We'll see what happens. But this is what a swarm behavior looks like. They're basically out on the landing pad getting ready to go. I gotta take a good look through this bunch of bees here and see if I got any in there. I can't see. I can't see all that great. I noticed this cluster of bees down here on the leg, and sometimes they cluster like that because there's another queen hiding in there. I don't see one in this bunch. These are bees I got from a barn last year. This is a daughter of that swarm, of that cutout. And I'm hoping that they're going to find and smell that queen in this little box and they're going to make their way in there. I'm not seeing any more clustering. I don't think there's any more queens in this little bunch, but can't always tell. I'm hoping that they get her smell out of that box. And Coop, go downstairs. You ain't gonna like what you find out on that end. Yeah, it looks like they're moving their way into that little box. I'm gonna let that sit there. Meanwhile, I want to take a look at this one, because this cluster is what the bees were in when they were on the side of this box. The queen was on the side of this box, so her smell's probably still around, and that's why they're still here. So I'm going to try to encourage them to find this box. And it looks like they're making their way. Once they really get a good idea that the queen's in that box, they'll start marching right towards it. Dennis, this hive's going to swarm, brother. I just found the queen on the ground right here. I got her in this little 2-frame box. I'm just trying to collect those bees that are around her, get them in there. Taking a look for extra. Yes, Karen, you can physically pick her up. The queens do have a stinger, but it's a smooth stinger. These worker bees have a 2-pronged forked stinger. So the queen can sting you, but I doubt it would even register. That's really just a weapon for her. And it looks like they're going towards it. They'll hang around on some of these things because those pheromones are still there until they really get a good idea that that queen is in that box. They'll you know, kind of hang out around. Now what I did is I found that queen on the side of this box. Is I took a frame of drawn comb, you know, similar to something like this, and I just set it down next to them. And their instinct is to just move to that comb. And she walked right on it. I put her in the box. Pretty simple. Whenever you're catching swarms, if you get a hold of the queen, you can basically control that entire colony. They'll follow her. They'll follow her pheromones, her scent. My curiosity is in if there's other queens in this. Now the numbers on this have gone down substantially, but there's still a lot of bees on the outside of this box. Now that I saw the marked queen, the one I know was in this box, I already have her elsewhere. So once again, I'm just trying to figure out what exactly is going on here. How many more bees, how many queens, any of that kind of stuff. See, they're naturally drawn. This comb's been laying on the ground for, Christ, a year probably. And there's bees on it. They want to go on it. I'm waiting to see some fanning behavior out the door. There are bees making their way in. Most of them should clear out. But like I said, it's this cluster now that I'm a little bit concerned about. I might even open this up and do the split on it now, since it's got so many bees, and I don't know. This is a new scenario for me. I haven't come across this, so I'm messaging between other beekeepers, and I'm just trying to get an idea of what I should be doing here. It feels like I'm doing the right things. I'm happy I got that queen, because this is obviously, she was an overwintered queen, produced a hell of a lot of bees. If they're ready to go, what's it, beginning of April, that's the kind of queen I'm looking for. That's the kind of queen I'm looking for. I'm tempted to knock some of these bees off into a tray and see if I can spot another queen. Ha! What's up, Harry? Yeah, it's not that bad. It's actually, when they're in this swarm behavior, it's probably their most docile time. They're not at all thinking about anything else but where are we going and when are we going. That's basically what they're doing when they're sitting on this box. Just waiting. My guess is that in about an hour the sun's supposed to come back out, and I don't know, but I feel like if the sun was out a half an hour longer this afternoon, these bees would have took off and they'd have been gone. So we'll see. It looks like they're making their way back in. I think they lost scent of the queen since I got her in that other box. I don't know, though. I really don't know. I'm really interested in getting into this box. I think I need to open it up and see what it's got going on. My intention was to do all this work tomorrow when it was going to be really nice, but today kind of threw me for a curveball. And I got a lot of bees back over here, a lot more bees. I think they're funneling and fanning that scent out. I'm just trying to keep an eye out to make sure I don't see the queen come walking back out of there. There's a lot of bees back on that post, but I'm not sure if that's just because they're smelling that swarm. I don't know. I put a tiny spritz of Swarm Commander in there. I hope it's not too much, along with a frame of drawn comb. What's up, Danny? This colony's getting ready to swarm, brother. It's been packed on the outside of this box for a couple hours now. I looked down and noticed that there was a whole bunch of bees down here. Went looking and found the queen in that mass of bees. And I got her in that little 2-frame now. Now I'm just trying to keep an eye on the rest of them and see what's going on, where they're going, if they're going where I want them to, or if I'm going to have to chase them. I'm hoping that if they do decide to swarm, that they choose one of the other locations that I've created around the place. Some of my custom hives are swarm traps. I was actually getting ready to split this, just ready to split this colony. I came up just to look at it, and that's when I spotted the activity on the ground, and it's got me thinking there might be more than one queen in here. I really don't know. I really don't know. That's what I'm looking for. This is the fun part of beekeeping. Surprises. Surprises all the time. So I'm going to move this box out here. It's an old swarm box. Okay, so now what you're seeing here at the front, if you can see the entrance, what I'm hoping for is fanning behavior. Fanning is when they kind of stay in place. You see this girl right in the center here. She's doing it. And they're fanning that behavior, or those pheromones, the queen's pheromones, and now I'm just trying to inspire them to go into this box. And here I am on my hands and friggin' knees under thousands and thousands of bees, staring at thousands and thousands of bees. You gotta be careful, I don't get too close. You're breathing. The CO2 from your breath is not a good thing. They do not like that. I'm wondering if I shouldn't tip this box open a little bit at the top. Let them get in there, but I don't know if that's a good idea. Always a lot of questions. Even if you've done this 100 times, you always get questions. You just kind of watch, keep a close eye on them, see what they're doing. I'm trying to make sure that my queen is still in this box. As you can see, there's a lot of bees in the box already. My queen is in there. I'm trying to inspire the rest of them to go in. I'm hoping I didn't overwhelm them with that swarm commander. I'm feeling like I did. Sorry. Give you an overhead view. There's my queen. Find the queen. There she is. Hang on a second. Let me get this. I want to get this in this box. In this other box. I feel like I did something wrong by putting that swarm commander in here. It's really strong. It's really strong. Oops. Okay, so what I did is I put a little bit of swarm lure in that other box, but I think it was too much. I got a little over anxious, so I switched them into this box. It was just an old box, and it has the queen in it, and the bees are moving their way towards it. I think they can see it. I think they can smell her in there, and that's my hope, is to get them to move into this box. Yeah, Ron, I can watch this all day too, brother. I do. Works for suckers. Once again, I'm just going to give them a little push. Try to get them on the ground in front of this box. Try to inspire them to move into this other one. Instead of up the pole again. I'm not sure if you know this, but bees don't always listen. And all the while I'm trying to keep an eye out for others, for other bees, other queens. Meanwhile, I got these guys here on the ground. What I'm waiting for is them to start what they call the march behavior. They move. They'll just start moving. They'll just start moving as one into this box. That's a good question, Ron. It really depends on the colony, on the space that they occupy. Sometimes you get several swarms where you'll get the queen will leave with a bunch of bees, but the new queens, the virgin queens who haven't been mated, will follow them out the door. So you'll end up with a swarm that has multiple queens in it. And if the colony is strong and the conditions are right, they can swarm a couple times a year. I mean, it really depends on the circumstances. There's a lot of variables. I don't know if you can see, if you're watching this, you can kind of see them starting to march towards that box. More and more bees are moving their way towards it, up and in and onto it. You're seeing some fanning behavior. The bees will flap their wings to blow the pheromones of the queen out and about to the other ones, and as you can see, they just start to all kind of get the hint and make their way towards the box. It looks like the front of the other box is settling down a bit. I'm still going to split those bees. Yeah, you can see them starting to move, and that's what I'm looking for. And like I said, I'm keeping an eye out for other queens. Right now, there's still that pheromone. They release, if you think about bees, they spend most of their lives in the dark. So they rely heavily on pheromone smell. A lot of those indicators. They rely heavily on those smells, so that's why this fanning behavior is important at this point, because I'm really trying to get them to get that queen smell. And some of them are still, as you can see, hanging onto this leg because the smell is still there. Sorry. I actually think this is a queen here. I can't tell. They look like they're mauling her. No, not another queen. Yeah, they're really at this point, when they're in that swarm behavior, they're really not aggressive. Overall, honeybees are not aggressive. they're defensive. You mess with their home, you mess with them, their personal space, and you're going to have issues. But most times they're completely, they're completely harmless. I got bees all over me right now. My hands, on my sweater. This is when it's dangerous. You don't even realize that they're on you. You close your arm or, cross your arms and there's one there, and that's how you get stung. I very rarely get stung. Except under those circumstances. Once again, still on the search for secondary queens. I don't think that I'm seeing any more in here. These are all just kind of doing their thing. I'm pretty sure that they know the queen's in this box. Let's take a look around the front again, see what the front's doing. It's turned out to be a very exciting bee day, folks. I'm glad that you guys were here. And I was filming. Yeah, and as you can see, the volume of bees on here is considerably less. There's still a lot of bees on there, but you can actually see the entrance now. Earlier you couldn't see anything in this thing. So I'm going to kind of just try to poke my nose around in here a little bit and see what I can see. What I like to do sometimes is get a lid. I'll get a lid, and I actually think I might drag this box over. Sorry for the shaky work. But what I'm trying to do is just set up this kind of a tray here and see what the bees are doing. You can see I'm just gonna gently move these bees off, shake them down here, take a look, see if I have a queen. I'm doing this gently. They don't really bother us too much. Right here you can see, if you can see this bee, that's a drone. They're the male bees. They got like a big fighter pilot looking head to them. And they're considerably larger than their female counterparts. The drone bees are males. They're completely helpless. They do nothing in the hive but eat and mate. Once they mate, they die. So their only purpose is to mate. It's the one and only thing that they do. A lot of times in the swarms, they'll stay behind. See, they cluster together like that. A lot of times it's for a reason. Maybe it's a smell. This little ball, maybe you can, I don't know if you can see that there's a little ball of bees there. And I like to make sure that I don't have any queens in there. They'll generally keep a good eye on the queen and keep her covered up until they're ready to go. And I'm just poking around to see if there aren't any other queens in this swarm. Now what I know about this box at this point, considering that queen left and all these bees were going to go with her, that there are queen cells in this colony. So when I go in there, I'll find those queen cells and I'll divide those up amongst other boxes to create more colonies. That's what we call a split. And like I said before, this behavior at this time is generally very, very docile. They're not looking for any trouble. They're looking for orders. They're waiting for orders. Where are we going? When are we going? Like I said, this sun coming out I'm glad I found that queen, or else they would have been going. I feel like the sun was going to be the determining factor today with these bees. No, that's a drone. It's so strange too. You can see like this drone right here is really, really blonde. You get this one here that's really, really dark. They vary so much. Vary so much in their appearances. Now these bees are from what I believe was a wild colony. If it wasn't always wild, it was wild at least for a little while. And these bees are noticeably smaller than some of the other bees that I have. Typically when they are wild and left to do their own thing, they get smaller. At some points in history they tried to make bees bigger so they could forage on different flowers, and it was a really kind of a horrible failure. The bees always revert back to their natural size. And I don't know if you just listening to this can hear the difference. And the sun's poking its way out. I don't know if you can hear the difference. It's getting noticeably louder around me because of the bees just being in the air. Once again, I'm just, working gently, working quietly with the bees in this swarming behavior. They're really in a non-aggressive state. I'm covered in bees. This is when I'll get, like I said, this is when I'll get stung, is because I just don't realize that they're on me. I don't know if check back on these guys. Still got bees on the leg, but quite a few less bees. I'm probably going to leave these go and just let them work their way in. Although like I said, I am questioning if there's another queen in the mix of these bees. I don't think there is. I think it's just them attracted to that swarm smell on that leg, and when they settle down a little bit, I think they're all going to pack this little box in. Yeah, Ron, anytime, brother. Let me know. I don't care if you come by now. We can do the social physical distancing. And you could certainly see the bees up close without getting that close to me. Obviously, we're supposed to maintain the physical distancing, and that's pretty easy. But absolutely, yeah, I'd love to have. I love having visitors. I love doing this. I love talking about it with people because I love doing it, and people become instantly fascinated when it comes to the bees. I'm really, really wanting to open this up and see what I got going on here. I should probably grab a few of these boxes and take a look. I don't have a camera person. Doing this with one hand. My smoker. That's good to go. Like I said, these bees were, wow, jammed in here. Holy smokes. This thing is literally overflowing with bees. Holy smokes. Yeah, I need to get some boxes ready. If I'm going to get into this, if I'm going to open this up, I got to be ready. Because there's just, jeez. This is a 5-frame deep and a 5-frame medium super. And I have a shim board on it. Insulated foam for the winter. And they are just packed. This whole honey super was full of honey. This stuff along here, this is called propolis. That's what they use to glue all these pieces together and seal up any cracks. They're very, very, very good at regulating temperature and humidity within the box. And that propolis is something you can buy in a health food store. Propolis is made from resins, from trees, and bee spit. And it's a beautiful thing. Some people claim it does wonders for your immune system. It's known and been studied that bee colonies that have more propolis tend to be healthier. It's got some anti bacterial and antimicrobial and all those anti kind of things that people like. This thing is absolutely jam-packed full of bees. So I'm going to lift this up. I wasn't going to do this today because of the weather, but the bees kind of forced my hand. I can already tell they got this thing really jammed up, really glued down. You can see, maybe you can see when I open this up, you probably can't see that in there. The propolis. No, I'll show it to you when I open this up. Trying to figure out places to put all these bees. Set that down there. One thing I don't want to do is drop anything. Let me see if I can't get my phone propped up a little bit here so you can see. This isn't the greatest. Sorry guys, this is not what my intention was here today. Yes, this is just one colony. They've got this thing glued up, frames glued up to the other box. There we go. They built wax in between these boxes, or built wax in between these boxes. And you can see here's some larvae that unfortunately I'm going to lose just because they built that and they put a lot of that, the drone larvae, in between these frames. There's the purple eyes, they call them. That's all drones that are ready to go. But you can see this thing is jam-packed full of jam-packed full of bees. I have to go through this whole thing. Hang on a second, let me set you down again. I'm going to use a bit of smoke. The smoke disrupts their pheromones and it just kind of gets them out of the way so I can set this box back down without crushing a bunch of them. When you do that, you tend to piss them off. Yeah, there's a lot of drones in this bad boy. A lot of drones in this colony. They're ready to go. Okay, so I think I'm just going to set this box to the side here. As you can see, me manipulating them and setting them up like that, they could really care less. Anything jarring really would probably piss them off. You can see all along here this sticky stuff, that's the propolis that I was talking about. That's what they use to glue that stuff together. See if I can't pull a frame. Find a queen cell, which I'm fairly certain I will. And as I'm doing this, just moving slowly, gently. Most of them, like I said, are ignoring me. Their mind is elsewhere. And I'm going to try to do this as gently as possible in case they have any queen cells. This is an outer frame. Generally the outer frames are honey frames. You don't generally see queen cells on those outer frames. But if the queen is prolific enough, then she's going to be laying everywhere she can. Some of these drones really, the queen is basically the biggest bee, but the drones kind of throw you for a loop sometimes because they're kind of big, and you can kind of confuse the two because they're often times colored similarly. And they got the big old abdomen. Okay, so right here you can see that that's a queen cell that's open. That looks like an emerged queen. Can you see that cone looking thing right there? That's a queen cell. And like I said, it looks opened. There is a larva, maybe there is a larva in there. So that's a queen on the way, in the works. So I'm going to take that and drop that into another box. Taking you guys along for the ride here today. Hope you're enjoying. I know I've been on a lot today, but maybe you're tired of watching that dumbass tiger asshole. And are interested in some real interesting things, some natural world, not some dummy keeping exotic pets. You can see here, I actually look at this. There's some of those bees I said, cleaning house. Trying to, at least, trying to drag out larvae. This all right here, this is all worker brood. That's just regular worker bees. You'll see some bigger ones with kind of like a dome on them. These guys over here, that's the drones. They're naturally bigger, so you'll see bigger cells that they develop in. Just trying to shuffle these bees around so I can get a look for some queen cells. Yep. There's a beauty of a queen cell. Right there. People compare them to peanuts. They kind of look like peanuts. There's one right there. So that'll be a future queen. So I'm going to take this and put this in its own box. I had not planned on doing this today, but here we are. Life of a beekeeper. I came out of winter with 21 colonies out of 30 that I went in with. And I'm looking to double that number this year. So these splits are important to me this year. I'm also catching swarms and have actually caught swarms already this year, surprisingly enough. Okay, I can see another queen cell in this already. On the back side, oftentimes you'll find them in corners in an area like this, where it's a little bit open, And I don't know if you can see this, but there are two queen cells in this. So what I'll probably do is I'm going to probably cut one of those out, and we'll start an additional colony with that. So that'll be four colonies coming forward out of this one. Now in nature, it wouldn't go down like that. Got me right in the thumb. Nature wouldn't go down like that. The remaining queens would, those cells would all stay in the colony. They would all hatch, or some of them hatch, and then they will, like I said earlier, battle royale for top dog, the queen lady. I'm keeping an eye on this weather. It's supposed to get sunny again at some point. As of right now, it feels like I'm feeling a little bit of change. They're not always thrilled with barometric pressure changes. Once again, now this was an outside frame, and I'm not seeing any additional here. So I'm going to get another box, and I'm going to get and a couple of frames. There's drones, queens, and worker bees. The workers are these ladies right here. They're the ones that take care of the young, clean up the hive, feed the drones, and take care of foraging. The drones are the males. They do nothing else, as I said, but eat and mate. And yeah, that's what they do. All right, I got a little bit of work to do here. Maybe I'll pop back on in a bit. Thanks for watching.